So our daughter Eve was diagnosed with DIPG on March 10th, 2021. So as you know, immediately after diagnosis, we are introduced to the palliative team because they become part of Eve's treatment team of doctors. She surpassed the usual prognosis for a child diagnosed with DIPG. She survived for 4 years and 2 months post that diagnosis.
Our story with paediatric palliative care was a quick one personally. My daughter only spent 5 months in palliative care. She was diagnosed with terminal brain cancer. However, I've been a nurse for a very long time and have nursed palliative patients in the paediatric field. And since Ruby's death, I've moved into the adult field. So I guess I have a personal connection to the palliative care and a professional aspect.
Because we had some really good experiences, but we also had some really terrible experiences, all within the same cluster, the same group, and that's why we don't want other parents to go through what we did with the bad side of it. We want people to have the really good part.
I got involved in the research and advocacy space of palliative care because a lot of the things that went on with Ruby's journey in palliative care, I thought could have been better. Such a vulnerable and special period for that family that there's so much to consider and so much you can always improve on. And I think from my personal and professional background, I wanted to go and help others and help researchers with a personal aspect to try and improve palliative care, especially for children.
Overall, we've done, for research, we've gone to government, etc., and we've been involved in grants that DIPG has never received before. So we still do that. In the palliative, we at one stage had to go to because it's a state-based, we went to the New South Wales State Health Minister to get action.
So I have been part of a committee that is putting together the new children's hospice that's opening in Sydney. So the Western Sydney palliative hospice, I should say. So that's Mounties Care Cottage. I think it's opening in the next couple of years. So just using our lived experience in the palliative and in the children's hospice sector. So I've been part of that working group. We are also part of the COACT groups for looking into brain cancer and treatment and changes that can happen for families that are to go down this journey like ourselves.
I've been on a project with Anchog into some of the trials for brain cancer in general. I've done a lot of advocacy work with the government. We got 25 million approved into the MRFF last year for brain cancer, and I've gone back and forth to Canberra quite a lot to speak to different ministers about how, just as a whole, Australia can improve its care for any type of paediatric cancer that then has a flow-on effect into adult cancer as well.
You've had the rug swept from under you. You're completely blindsided with a diagnosis like DIPG. So just being sensitive to that and then knowing that time is so precious in that moment.
How you put the team of parents together, I think the committee should be aware of, and speaking to doctors and you might get different perspectives, but you also don't want just yes people. You want a mix of, and I'm not sure who invited Angie or my wife, but they would have known that she's not a yes person, and they would have got some good feedback. So I think you're talking, some people aren't confident enough to speak in a big group. That's in my experience. some people will tell you they're going to do this and this and that, but they don't, like, they get nervous around, and especially with like communities and doctors, etc., who obviously, are highly intelligent. Some people might feel intimidated by that. So I think having the right, it's not going to be perfect, but having a right mix of people might help that.
And I think also parents who have had children have different types of illnesses, because they would have seen different things within the hospital setting, and will offer a fresh perspective.
I think how researchers can help consumers or parents with lived experience get involved would to, I think, a really big aspect of our communication between other bereaved families is social media. A lot of us follow bereaved parent groups, or the hospital that our child was at, or Red Kite, or things like that. That's a really quick, innovative way of advertising involvement. Even if it was through just a quick Facebook post on one of their pages, if the person wants to get involved, they have no obligation. They can just click on the link. I get bombarded with emails personally, so a lot of the emails that I choose to read are ones that have to have meaning to me. So if there was something in the headline that alerted us that it would be able to help within the palliative care aspect or future research or something, I think that would be a good way to get engagement and just make it as least wordy as possible. A lot of times in medical jargon and research, there's things that other people or consumers just don't understand. So it's over our heads and we don't get involved because we actually don't know what it means. Just talk to the families and consumers like you're talking to someone at a park. Just don't make it too complicated.
When they select a jury, they ask you a few, like you'd maybe want to talk one-on-one with parents before you put them into a group. And then like you might get to know a few different personalities, etc. For a researcher, I think, yeah, it's like, if you are going to get some of your referrals from the palliative team, maybe a couple of sentences about, Tamer, bit of a loudmouth, Angie, bit of a loudmouth, yeah, like, you know what I mean? Or just a couple of sentences, but also this happened to their daughter, this might, just so you're aware of the background and maybe personality, so then you'll know when you're putting the group together.
So with the Mounties Care Cottage meeting, they offer counselling before the sessions and after the sessions for families, because they are quite triggering, because you are reliving that worst time of your child's life. So having those open conversations before and after, and letting them know that there is help.
They need to be ready. So I'm not ready. I haven't joined any committees, etc. I don't want to involve myself in anything, but my wife does, and she's happy to do it. So I think you just need to be,
to make it easier on yourself, do the training that's provided. If it is provided, it gives you a good knowledge base. I personally just look into other information that we're talking about and research it before I go into the meetings. If you're not in the headspace for that, that's also fine. Everyone that I've been involved with, just ask the questions. Don't feel silly if you don't understand what they're talking about. It's always explained, and don't go in thinking that because you're not from a research background or a medical background that you're less knowledgeable than anyone else. You probably have a wealth of knowledge that they're wanting from you. So don't go in thinking that you're not going to be able to contribute, because you're probably going to contribute more than you think.
I think ask. Just, let the parents make the don't make the decision on behalf of the parents. Let the parents make their decision.
But perhaps preface it by saying, this might be triggering. Do you feel comfortable talking about.
Yeah, this is what we're going to talk about. Will this trigger you? But we'd really love you to have you on the committee. Let the parents decide.
I always go back to that any family that hasn't lost a child has the opportunity to talk about their child or talk about their day or their experiences every single day. Like, oh, our kid did this at soccer today. We don't get that opportunity to talk about them every day, about the little things. So when we're given the opportunity, and it's an opportunity that can help research or help others, I don't think it's a burden at all. Like, it's nice talking about your child and trying and help someone else who's been in that situation. That's such a crap situation. I actually think it's something really important that we get to still share our children, and our child that has died is somehow making a difference in the world. Like, they're not able to do anything now because they've passed, but if this little bit of them passing helps someone else, it actually is a really nice thing.